earthquake early warning system uses artificial intelligence to predict shaking. We know this happened a few years ago. The early warning system, especially used by Californians in order to predict where the shaking would be greatest in the area where they are found when the GPS system locates them, in order to alert them. Now, a new deep learning approach could lead to better predictions of how earthquakes will shake certain regions. The earthquake early warning system uses artificial intelligence, AI, to predict how the ground will move during an earthquake, and it can give several seconds advice notice to the one receiving the message that the shaking is coming to their area. A similar system that uses more traditional computer power already exists on the west coast of the United States. It's called Shake Alert. It works by detecting the first waves of the earthquake motion, they're called P waves, and then calculating when the set of waves that causes the most shaking, the slower moving S waves, will arrive. So it first catches the P waves, then calculates quickly where the S waves will move. In the new system, the development is called Deep Shake, and it's also intended to provide a few seconds warning of imminent shaking once an earthquake has started. Kindly support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. But the Deep Shake uses a deep neural network. It's a type of AI learning in order to identify patterns from past earthquakes in order to predict how the shaking from a new quake will travel. This could lead to faster processing and easier generalizability across different earthquake-prone regions. When we set out on this project, our goal was to beat the ground motion prediction earthquakes, the equations that are currently used to program shake alert systems. This is what Avoid Data said, a master's student in electrical engineering at Stanford University, who was part of the team that developed Deep Shake. He said they tend to be very slow. You need numerical solvers running on supercomputers, and they can take minutes and hours to process. In contrast, if you run 25 Deep Shake models, it takes 6.1 milliseconds on a single research GPU, that's graphics processing unit. This is what Data told Life Sciences, where I read the article I'm reading for you. This is going to be a blazing fast prediction, he said. Now, concerning the predicting of the shaking, in a presentation on April 23rd, just a few days ago, at a virtual meeting of the Seismological Society of America, Data and his colleague, Stanford undergraduate Danielle Wu, reported their results after training Deep Shake to predict the ground motion of an earthquake near Ridgecrest, California. Ridgecrest is a seismically active Eastern California shear zone. And in 2019, as we know, we had the sequence of earthquakes that shook the region, the largest being a magnitude 7.1 quake that hit the day after July 4th. Now, Data, Wu, and their colleagues used the earthquake sequence to train Deep Shake to predict ground shaking in that area. They started with a data set of more than 36,000 quakes that struck Ridgecrest from July to September 2019. Most were tiny. They fed 80% of the data set into the deep neural network, saving 10% for tweaking the parameters of the network and a final 10% for testing whether the network's outcomes matched reality. The research programmed the network to assign more weight to the larger earthquakes in the sequence, which were relatively few, and it could perform better as an early warning system. After all, the largest quakes are the ones that people need warning about the most. And giving warnings, what Deep Shake does. Despite the fact that Deep Shake was given no information about earthquake's location or type, it was able to warn of shaking at other seismic stations in the network between 3 and 13 seconds before it happened, Wu said. This is similar to the amount of advance notice with Shake Alert. Wu and Data don't view this other system as a competitor, though. They said deep shake technology could be used to complement Shake Alert. The researchers hope to expand the testing to other faults and earthquake sequences. Ground shaking in any given spot can be tricky to predict. For example, Shake Alert failed to send out warnings during the largest earthquakes in the ridgecrest sequence in 2019 because the shaking was expected to not reach the program's threshold of light shaking in some areas that did indeed experience light shaking. The developers of Shake Alert have made changes to it since 2019 to incorporate those lessons learned. The advantage of deep learning networks, though, is that they automatically incorporate quirks of the site because they are based on past experiences of shaking in that location. Now, unlike Shake Alert, which uses more universal equations with assumptions built in, Deep Shake would have to be retrained in each individual region where it was used. So this training would catch patterns that traditional equations might not, he said. The places where deep learning really flourishes are places where there's lots and lots of data and lots of complicated patterns to uncover, Wu said. So this is from Live Science by Stephanie Pappas. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support.